Hi there and welcome to Viditrainer interviews. I've got a fantastic surprise for you today. We have Rudi Rebstein on the line with us. Rudi is a very interesting South African. He holds himself out as a peak performance coach and a performance analyst. And initially I was also quite surprised and even unaware of what that exactly means. So I thought, let's get Rudi in and let's talk to him about this. Rudi, welcome to the interview. It's fantastic having you here.
No, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm extremely excited to be here. Excited because I'm going to share some distinctions that I know will make a difference in the quality of people's lives, major difference, and that's no exaggeration. Challenge, because, you know, the shortest training program I normally do is 50 hours.
Oh, yeah. So we've got to condense 50 hours into an half an hour interview. Well, let's see how far we get with that. Usually when we start out with the interviews, I ask our guests to tell our viewers a little bit more about themselves. So maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself. I know that you're a Houdini boy when you started life out.
Absolutely. Yes, my background is quite simple. I grew up in a small town, and I was very privileged, and blessed to have been there. I grew up with two wonderful people, my grandparents.
Yes.
And they gave me, everything I needed. I never lacked anything. But what was missing was what I like to call prosperity consciousness.
Mm.
And that put me on a quest early in my life, to set out and to start to make a difference. I started to go out and try and make people happy.
Mm.
Because I learned that, and I experienced that making other people happy makes me happy.
Mm.
I started on this quest of learning. I started to read books and devour books, and I started on what I like to call my crusade, which I'm still busy with. And that led me to business. And it also led me to some failures. I believe failure is success turned inside out. If you're an entrepreneur today,
yes,
like yourself, I mean, you're a successful, at first you qualified as a lawyer, you're an attorney at law, and now you're in the property business, you're a property expert. I'm sure you've had your share of failure.
oh yeah, believe me.
Failure doesn't mean that you're a failure. It simply means that you've learned something. And I went through all that, and again, I'm extremely blessed to be in a position to have had the experience, to have worked with so many people, and to help people, and to share what I've learned.
That's very interesting to hear that viewpoint, because I mean, you're not just talking as somebody who obviously, read books and all that. You were also quite involved in the business world. In fact, you were a CEO of a major company that got listed on the stock exchange. What was your journey like? I mean, how did that happen?
Going into business, since an early age, I've had practical business experience. And but I never planned on going into business and just be a CEO of a company.
Yes.
That happened, and I was very lucky. But my work is the most important thing. What I do, doing events, helping people, and there's nothing more powerful than doing a live event.
Sure.
And I'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, sure. Something that almost oozes out of every interaction I've had with you, your profiles, your websites, is that you have a major focus on helping people reach their maximum potential. To live fuller life, so to speak. What is this? Is this your main message?
Well, you know what, people, I believe we all have potential.
Sure.
I believe that potential is not our problem. I believe that our Creator blessed us with an abundance of potential.
Yes.
And, the problem why many people fail is that they do not tap into enough of their potential.
Mm.
As a result, they take less action.
Yeah.
Because to produce results, you have to take action.
Mm.
Right? And then producing less results is causing a belief system in a person that, you didn't make it. And your brain goes, see, I told you.
Yeah.
Not going to make it.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle. And this cycle is what I like to call the success cycle.
Sure.
We have a lot of potential. People who fail take less action, they produce less results. And as a result of that, they start to believe that, and it creates inner conflict. And they start to believe that, I'm not destined for big success. I'm not destined for big money. And this cycle continues. And that's what I like to call the downward spiral. When people enter that downward spiral, it's very difficult to get out of it.
Yeah. So is this what you say is, stopping people from reaching their full potential? It is this cycle of negative thinking, of not taking action. This is the thing that stops us from reaching our full potential. Is that what you're saying?
I always want to say, and I wish I could have more time to demonstrate the success cycle now, but the success cycle is the holy grail of belief and success, because our belief systems are very powerful. That's why on my events, which we're going to talk about, I hope, a little bit later on, one of the first things I like to do is to remove two things. Remove inner conflict and remove fear.
Okay.
Because why would a person tap only a little bit of potential? There's fear holding us back. I was watching the brilliant interview you had a while ago with Gordon McKay. I must congratulate you. I think it was excellent. And watching Gordon speak, what most significant thing for me about that was Gordon has no fear.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Gordon,
true.
Because he went through a lot of difficulty and adversity, but listening to him, watching him speak, using him as an example here, he had no fear. So he could tap more of his potential. As a result, he could take bigger action.
Certainly.
As a result, he's producing major results. The same with you. I mean, I studied your profile, and if you look at your success, you've got 8, 10 big property businesses. So you're busy tapping even more of your potential. So if you're looking at the success cycle, a person who's succeeding on a large scale is, first of all, a person who has set a goal. A big, major goal, almost like a bright star shining on their horizon. As a result, they tap into a lot of their potential, which causes them to take massive, immediate action. And that produces results. And now, their belief system, now our brains go, see, I told you you're a stud. See, I told you you can make it. And it just goes better and better and better. So it's all to do with our state. And that's, people often ask me, what do you teach exactly? I say, I teach state management.
State management, inner state management.
For any human being to produce major results, you have to be in a certain state. I want to ask you if you support a rugby team.
Oh yes, certainly.
And you've been to a match where your favorite team is playing, and you're live in the audience.
Yes.
And your favorite team is scoring a goal. What do you do?
Yes.
Tell me.
I'm jumping up and down, screaming and shouting.
You don't care about the people next to you.
Not at all.
Just go, because you're in that state.
Yeah.
You see, and that peak state is what sets apart a Mother Teresa from a Charles Manson. So all I'm trying to say is it's in all of us, but we need to follow certain rituals. And to do that, you have to be prepared to match, model, and mirror those who succeeded before you.
Okay. So this is something, you know, I didn't even prepare, but it's coming out now. What I hear you say is that, you know, it's a cycle, or let's call it a habit. And it's also got to do with, you know, that little voice inside, the way you talk to yourself almost.
Absolutely. It's a ritual. We've got to be, right now, as we're sitting here, our life is controlled by our rituals.
Okay.
You can look at a person, any person, and you're a person like myself, working with thousands of people over 22 years. I have to be an idiot not to know that there are patterns in human behavior. So if you look at a person, you can look at a person and see this person is working out in the gym like twice a week or 4 times a week. It's obvious. If you look at another person, is okay, this person is not working out at all. Talking about physical body, taking great care of your physical body. So our lives are controlled by our rituals. We've got to change your rituals. And I'm sure we'll talk about the economy. I'm not talking about the economy, but right now in this economy, what worked in the old economy is not going to work now. Some people are doing the right thing at the wrong time. So it's a different time now. So we've got to do different things in this time.
I like that. You know, you're touching on so many things that you're quite right. Maybe half an hour was a bit optimistic from my side. We'll have to do more. Let's try one more thing. I want to ask you, and I think you've touched on that already, but if you had to give one piece of advice to people to face their fears, you know, what is the one thing they've got to change or got to adopt in order to face their fears so that they get into this positive cycle, or as you call it, the success cycle?
You know, a lot of people in the past, still today, are referring to me as a motivational speaker. I don't like that. I don't see it that way. I'm into strategy. So I'm not going to ask you to go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. The lines, there are freaking weeds.
Yeah, the weeds are there.
And we're going to take them out one by one.
Certainly.
So motivational speakers, sometimes some of them, in our country, we have brilliant people and, you know, doing brilliant work, fantastic work. But worldwide, a lot of them are, you know, doing the chant thing and they're into cluster thinking. I believe in intelligence. Let me try and qualify that. What I'm saying I believe in intelligence is I believe in seeing things as they are and not lying to yourself. I believe in seeing things as they are, but not worse than it is. That's what most people do, so they don't have to try. I believe in seeing things as they are, but trying to see them better. And get back to your question, it's an excellent question, which is also the holy grail of personal development. That's fear. That's why on my 4-day event, it's a 50-hour training program, which we spoke about earlier on. The first day, it's like 12 hours. The first day is about fear. It's about turning fear into power. Because fear is holding you back. It's blocking you. It's preventing you from achieving greatness. And I have methods, you know, for instance, on that day, on that first day of that 4-hour event, I do a fire walk. Very controversial. Why can I walk on fire? I use it as a metaphor. You know what? One of the great philosophers of our time, speakers, guy was inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, Earl Nightingale said it, Emerson said it, but, you know, it's basically do the thing you fear most, and the death of fear is certain. So turning fear into power is the ultimate tool in shifting a belief. And shifting a belief is the first step onto greatness. So you asked me advice for any person to change their life. Two things that you need to change. Number one, you need to change your physiology. You need to change your voice. By changing your voice, you change your biochemistry. Opening, stretch, extend your body. Open your diaphragm. And by opening your diaphragm, you change your biochemistry. You put yourself into a different state. And the moment you're in a different state, you can take different action. And by taking different action, you produce different results.
Certainly.
It's simple.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Immediately, you've shifted the belief. You're now in the upward spiral. And that is success on any level. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially.
I like that. Obviously, your inner state has an effect on your outward appearance and vice versa. You know, the way that you carry yourself on the outside would also have an effect on your inner state. I fully agree with you there. If I
may comment on that, you know, I've worked with such a diverse group of people. I've worked with top CEOs of companies. I also work with couples, you know, a couple who might be at the edge, you know, and one says green, the other one says red, you know, they're going to go certain ways. But it doesn't have to be like that. Business owners who, you know, in dire straits, you know, they started out, and if you look at the business statistics in this country, same as in other countries, it's shocking statistics that 50% of all businesses that are being started within 2 years are dead, it's failed. So 50%. I'm actually being very optimistic here. I'm talking about the figures of the old economy. I mean, Lehman Brothers went belly up 2008, and that's the old economy. We're now in a new economy, and even now the stats are even worse. So for people to change their life, you need to change your physiology, you need to work in your body. It's like a salesman. I mean, why do so many people fail in sales? I mean, a guy goes out with this state of mind, you know, to knock on 100 doors. And almost like the guy opens the door, he says, you don't perhaps want one of these, do you? I mean, it's just crazy. 100 people are going to say, 99 are going to say no.
Of course.
One guy is going to buy other fitness. The guy's kids doesn't starve. You know, somehow change your mindset, your psychology, your physiology. And the second thing is you've got to change your focus. You've got to change what you focus on. Focus equals feelings. So if we focus on, if we do a little exercise here now, and I ask you in the room where you're sitting, I ask you, Deon, focus on everything that's brown. Look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. In a minute or two, you're going to have 5, 6 things that is brown.
Yeah.
Where focus goes, energy flows, right?
Interesting.
So but I can also say, Deon, look for red, look for red, look for red. You're going to go red. I'm going to find red. You might even go and find burgundy and call it red, so you don't have to lie to yourself. I'm saying focus equals feelings, and what you focus on, your energy will flow in that direction.
Yeah.
Just great.
You touched on something a second or so ago, which I found quite interesting. You mentioned Lehman Brothers, you know, which went belly up in 2008.
Yeah, sad.
And certainly, believe me, that had a major effect on the property business as well, yeah, not just in South Africa, but worldwide. But the question I specifically have is, to say that you've been a world traveler might be one of the biggest euphemisms. I mean, you've been traveling extensively. How do you think that, well, let's say that traveling, how do you think that changed or influenced your current strategies or your worldview even?
Worldview, of course. You know, it gives you massive perspective. I've been traveling since a young age, but I've been all over, and it gives you perspective. It gives you massive perspective to be in Sydney, Australia, down under, and to walk up in front of an audience, you know, which is a different audience than here.
Sure.
You know, especially with my freaked out South African accent. It's crazy. Or even in St. Louis, California, you know, somewhere you have that little inner conflict saying, They don't like my accent.
Yes.
Let's have that sort of believe in yourself. And really, for me, getting back to my early years, since I was a small child, I had this belief that I will succeed. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
I always knew that I was going to make it big, huge. And so that's why when you look at my events, I believe so much in my work that I have this money back guarantee. So, you like the event, just hand in your workbook and give you a refund. Because I believe so much. I believe that it's not me or even the information. It's the way that you give it to people.
Okay.
And getting back to Lehman Brothers, the world economy, I believe right now the recession that we are in, well, it's the biggest one the planet's ever seen. And let me say one thing to you now, and to all your viewers out there, I'm telling you right now, it's going to become much worse before it's going to become better. But it doesn't have to be worse for you if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
If you change your state, if you follow certain rituals, if you change your physiology, your focus, you strengthen your state. And right now, this time, this economy that we're in, it could be the best time that you've ever lived. The best financial time, the best emotional time, the best spiritual time, and I want to put emphasis financial time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. If you look at the Fortune 500, companies like Microsoft, even Apple, the most cash rich on a fantastic Apple system here, by the way.
I'm also on an Apple system, by the way.
Oh, excellent, good choice. Apple,
I know. Thanks.
It's the cash rich company in the world right now. But if you look at Steve's legacy, and all the companies, they are companies that were formed or created in the toughest economic recession ever.
That's right. That's right.
So, and I think in the past, two of us had a discussion on that. Why is that? Why in an economic recession start business? Because most people, general belief in the country will hold that this is a difficult time now. We have to be careful. We can't take any risks, especially in the property market. We're holding back. And this is where companies like Starbucks is another example for you. Companies that were started in the middle of a tough economic recession are now right on top.
That's right.
Because if you build, that's another thing about my events. Why do I do a 50-hour training program, for instance? Because I like to build emotional muscle. I like to condition to build that muscle so that when it gets tough, it's stronger.
Yes.
So that when everybody else is freaked out, you're strong.
Certainly.
That makes a major difference.
I like that. Even on a personal level, and it wasn't due to any intelligent thinking on my part. It literally was just the way it panned out. But my property business, we also started that at the end of 2007, beginning of 2008, which is exactly the time when the world market crashed. And I can tell you this from personal experience, is that had it not been for the fact that we were in a recession, I'm wondering if we would have had this quick growth. And I'm being honest about this because I found that, in a recession, my strategy certainly has been to gain market share. And it's been easier because of the fact that it was a recession at the time.
Again, I might sound like a worn-out recording of a favorite song here. But again, while everybody else is freaked out, you're strong. So you basically outsmart, outmaneuver, outsell the competition. And that is what I like to share with people on my events.
Okay.
To put yourself into a different state and to set that goal. And once you've set that goal, nothing can stop you. You will not be denied.
I hear you.
In any economy.
Yes. I have to ask you at this stage, the main reason why I came across your work and your message was because I was actually reading your blog on your website, and you had this piece of advice for entrepreneurs to boost their business, which I think you call it the IBEFS approach. Do you care to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I will need more time.
Sure.
I will need
Okay.
half an hour.
Okay, again, the time's constrained.
Thank you so much for reading my blogs. But if you look at the essence of my work, it boils down to number one, removing fear, removing inner conflict. And what I do, for instance, on my 4-day event, on the second day is after we've removed the fear, and I've sent people to walk on fire. I call it a fire walk. And I saw your eyes went, wow, fire walk. And that is turning fear into power. Mm. That's on the first day. So on the second day, it's all about turning dreams into reality.
Okay.
And, Raymond will call it goal setting. Mm. And there's a scientific, specific approach to that. And that's also why we take people on this exercise to show them that visualization works. Mm. If you set a goal and it's big enough, it's important enough, you can achieve it. Mm. And again, back to the success cycle, once you've achieved a small little goal, that's why I always say to people, set a small little goal and achieve it. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between what it vividly imagines and reality.
Yeah.
So if you set a small little goal and you achieve it, your brain goes, wow, see, I told you, you can make it, you can achieve it. Mm. So that's more my approach, I like to put people into a different state, and that's why some people, I remember being interviewed on a radio program a couple of years ago in Midrand, and this woman kept on asking me from different angles, but what is the essence of this event? Mm. And I was trying to, find the right answer for the 500,000 people listening in on this radio show. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I stumbled upon the following phrase. And I said, you know what, my seminars are somewhere in between a motivational seminar and a rock concert. Okay, thank you. Now I understand. It's just pretty good now. So that's why the problem with a lot of event or people doing events worldwide is they suffer from these empty wall syndrome. Because people are opposed to learning, people are scared of it because of our conditioning, the way we've been brought up. And people think, oh no, I've got to go and sit 50 hours. This is crazy. I mean, these days, life is so fast-paced. I mean, like, you can't speak to a person for 5 minutes without them tweeting or, taking the BlackBerry, going, their attention span. Yeah. Like people on a 50-hour training program. I've had some people in the front row being dragged there by somebody else saying, I'll stay a couple of hours. Guy stays 4 days. Why? Because they enjoy the process.
Yes.
Back to the blog. People need to enjoy the process. If they do not enjoy the process, they might get the information intellectually, but they're not able to action it. Yeah. 4 weeks later. Yeah. So I have people coming to an event, and when they enter this event, I have techno pop blasting them into a different orbit. Wow, what is this? And then I combine that with state-of-the-art technologies and information. And again, people enjoy the process, and that is accelerated learning. That's a process where you are able to action that information 5 weeks later and produce results.
I remember when we spoke the first time, you talked about accelerated learning, and I think that's something that we'd love to cover, but we just don't even have the time for that today. We'll probably have to try and schedule a follow-up interview for that almost in itself.
I would love to do that. I've made a study of learning, and the whole learning process. And if I may, I want to ask you again, have you ever been to a college, or well, you've been to one of the top universities in the country, and seen people, or maybe you've been to a seminar, college, some educated place, where you've learned some stuff, good stuff. I mean, you knew it was important. Nobody was selling you on it. But then afterwards, you didn't use what you've learned. It's simply because it happens to everybody. So it's happened to me. It's because what you've learned, you retained it intellectually.
Yes, you didn't apply it.
It was because of the way it was brought across. So that's the difference. That's the difference between many people and my events. I shock people sometimes with my direct approach and with the loudness and with the music and with a lot of things, but they enjoy the process.
Really, this is normally the time in the interview where I say to our viewers that, you know, we get guys like you on Viditrainer to talk about your approach and, you know, to give advice to people for their own personal development and their businesses. So if you're not a subscriber to Viditrainer yet, please go check it out. At the end of this video also there will be a little thing on the video itself if you're watching this video on our blog itself, where you can subscribe. But enough about us, Rudi. You touched on some of the aspects already. I'd actually like to find out for our viewers where, you know, well, before we go to the where, maybe we must ask, what are you currently busy with that people watching this interview can sign up for or get more information about? You know, what are you currently busy with?
I've got two what I like to call half-day events, like 4 hours. The one is business mastery. That's aimed at small, medium, micro, even bigger business owners who would like to grow their businesses more and also increase the profitability of the business. Sometimes, you know, you have a business and you're growing the business, let's say 20% a year, but there's a problem with the profitability. So on business mastery, we touch on these items.
Okay.
And, so I've got business mastery coming up in Cape Town on the 23rd of February, and then the other half-day event that I run is what I like to call Create Your Breakthrough.
Create Your Breakthrough.
Yeah, and that's also a half day. And, you know, both these half days is, you know, I like to give people a taste of what's to come.
Certainly.
I do not want people to book and pay for a 4-day event without knowing what they're going to experience. That's why I like to do the half-day event, the 4-day event, where most people enjoy it tremendously. I mean, you have people from different walks of life coming in, attending these seminars. I would say 99% of them are raving fans, if I use the word, afterwards.
Certainly.
Also, if I may backtrack to the question you had earlier on about business owners, you know, and what advice we have for a business owner. In this economy, it's not enough just to have a happy customer. You need to create raving fans.
Oh, yeah.
Raving fans. Because these days, you know, people are, you know, they have unlimited choices. You know, you can go online right now and you have a bouquet of some of the best speakers on the African continent. And, you know, most of them are fantastic. So people are very much more sophisticated these days. You know, especially in property, also you will find that. Gone are the days where you print out a few little brochures, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sophisticated market.
That's right.
Yeah, I like people to almost have hors d'oeuvre, in a half day, and experience it. 99%, 99% are crazy about it, and after that they can commit to a deeper level, and they can attend the 4-day event, the 4-day business mastery,
okay,
or the 4-day what I like to call master your universe.
Okay, okay. We will obviously put up links to these events below this interview. While we're on the subject, where can you be reached? What is your website, or what is your preferred method where people can read more about you? I remember, as I said, I reached you the first time, or I read about you the first time, probably on LinkedIn, and then I followed up with you on your blog. But where can people reach you, and what do you prefer?
World Wide Web, RudiRebstein.com.
RudiRebstein.com.
Yeah, RudiRebstein.com, that's my website. I'm in the process now of within the next month or two. I just need time. One of the things that I promote and share with people on my events is part of it, which is another part of my business, is audio program, and where you can have downloads, and I like to call it net time, no extra time. So you can sit in your car, you can drive to your office, and you can just plug it in, you go, and you can learn more how to grow your business. You can do this, that. So, my website will undergo a little transformation soon. We're going to make it a little bit more interactive. I actually want it to be a real resource for people.
Sure.
That when they visit the website, they can get immediate value. Because I like to add more value than anybody else, to people's lives. So that's why I'm going to invest a lot of money and effort and time. And my IT people are much smarter than I am, so they're gonna do this, and we can make it very interactive. So a person can go onto the website. They can take from a little personality test, which will teach them more about their personality. I will have that up soon. To a video library, they can tap into interviews with brilliant entrepreneurs like yourself, and look at stuff like this.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's a fantastic idea.
The best way is, of course, I'm on the social media. People can message me on LinkedIn, but that website is quite easy. www.viditrainer.com.
Okay. Rudi, I'd love to continue this interview for 2 hours longer, but in the background, I think you're sitting in Cape Town, and it sounds like there's one of the biggest thunderstorms there ever. So I'm going to say thank you very much for the interview now, and we'll probably have to follow this one up with another interview where we expand a little bit more on some of your concepts.
Yeah, yes, thank you. It's a blessing. In the studio here, that we used to do a lot of shoots, and we did a lot of shooting here. But we were blessed here this morning in Cape Town with a fantastic rainstorm. So it's coming down buckets here. So my apology to the viewers for that.
Okay. Now that's perfect. Rudi, thank you very much. We will speak again, and enjoy the rainstorm there. It's pancake weather.
Absolutely. Deon, thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity I had. I hope a little time we had was a powerful and a strong investment for people. I hope I will have the opportunity to do again soon.
Certainly.
God bless. Take care.
Thanks.